Most Nickelodeon cartoons felt loud, funny, or chaotic, but Invader Zim felt something else entirely. Uncomfortable, aggressive, almost alien. And that's exactly why people still remember it, because underneath the screaming, strange humour and weird animation was one of the most unique cartoons Nickelodeon ever aired. Stay until the end, because we're giving Zim his final case file ranking, and honestly, it's higher than you might expect. Hello and welcome back to Retro Dive, where we revisit classic cartoons, cult favourites and the characters that stayed in people's minds long after childhood. And today, we're diving into one of Nickelodeon's strangest creations, Zim. Zim wasn't a hero. He wasn't even good at being a villain. He was an alien invader from the Urkan Empire. Sent to Earth on a mission he believed was critically important, there was just one problem. Nobody actually trusted him to succeed. In reality, Zim was loud, impulsive, emotional, and completely obsessed with proving himself, and that made him strangely entertaining, because despite all of his confidence, he consistently failed. And what made the character memorable wasn't just the failures, it was how seriously he took them. To Zim, every tiny victory felt world-changing, every setback felt personal, and every plan felt dramatic, and that over-the-top intensity became the identity of the show itself. At the time, most Nickelodeon cartoons had bright worlds and softer humour, but Invader Zim felt darker. The art style was sharper, the backgrounds felt unsettling, characters looked exaggerated and uncomfortable. Even the colour palette felt strange. Greens, dark reds, grey skies, heavy shadows. The show almost looked dirty at times, and that wasn't accidental. It gave Invader Zim an atmosphere that stood out immediately from other cartoons of the era, but it wasn't just the visuals. The humour itself felt chaotic. Sudden screaming, awkward silence, disturbing jokes, randomness mixed with genuinely clever writing. Sometimes it felt hilarious, other times it felt slightly cursed, and honestly, that's why people loved it. And then there was Gur, possibly one of the most chaotic cartoon side characters ever created. While Zim was obsessed with control and domination, Gur was unpredictable. Distracted, loud, completely unstable. And somehow, he became one of the most iconic parts of the entire show. Even people who barely remember Invader Zim usually remember Gur. That says a lot about how strong the character designs and personalities were. But underneath the chaos, there's a reason Zim became a cult character, because despite being an alien invader, he felt weirdly relatable. Zim desperately wanted recognition, validation, respect. He wanted people to take him seriously, and no matter how hard he tried, he never truly fit in. That idea connected with a lot of people, especially younger viewers who already felt different themselves. And while the show looked ridiculous on the surface, its identity was surprisingly consistent. Being strange wasn't treated as weakness, it was the entire point. Invader Zim embraced weirdness completely, and very few cartoons committed to their identity as hard as this one did. Years later, Invader Zim still has one of the strongest cult followings in animation. Not because it was mainstream, but because it felt unique. The show's energy, humour and visual style influenced internet cartoon culture for years. Memes, fan art, alternative animation styles, dark comedy cartoons, you can still feel traces of Invader Zim's chaotic identity across internet culture, even now. And for many fans, the show felt ahead of its time. Too strange for normal television, but perfect for the internet generation that followed. So using the Retro Dive case file index, we have Intelligence 7, Power 6, Durability 6, Strategy 5, Emotional Stability 2, and Danger Factor 7, giving us a final score of 5.5 out of 10. Low stability, high chaos, and one of the most unforgettable cartoon personalities we've covered so far. Invader Zim wasn't successful because it followed the rules. It became memorable because it ignored them completely. The strange visuals, the uncomfortable humour, the chaos, the screaming, all of it combined into something people still remember decades later. And honestly, there's still nothing quite like it. And if you enjoyed this case file, subscribe to Retro Dive for more deep dives into classic cartoons, cult favourites, and nostalgic characters. And let me know in the comments, who should we dive into next? I'll see you in the next dive.